people will say, Lance, you're the strongest guy I know, but even the strongest businessmen, they have so much coming at them. Not that you break, but you start not to do the things necessary to make yourself sharp.
Yeah.
And I called you up. You didn't even ask me for money. You didn't tell me how much it would cost. You never asked me for a nickel. You were like, I'll be on the next flight out. Do you remember that? You spent the whole week here with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we were up every morning, talking, working out, and you just were with me.
If you want to get better, you got to put yourself in different environments at time and be around different thinkers and types of people, because sometimes we can't see our blind spots.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, it's not about I need a coach because I'm struggling. It's like, dude, I want a coach because I always want to be sharp and I always want to be progressing.
Welcome to the Roofing CEO Playbook podcast. Build it to sell it. We're here to cut through the noise, all the rhetoric, to show you how to build your roofing business, make it profitable, where you make a boat ton of money, and the cherry on top, when you're ready to sell, you can sell to a private equity firm and change your family's life. I'm sitting here with Sean Michael Crane, who is actually my coach, and most people actually think he's my business coach, but he's not. He's actually my mind coach. I bring him in twice a year. I've been doing it now for about 2 years. He spends about a week with me in my home, spends every minute of the day with us for the most part. My family integrates himself in, and really helps me get a reset to stay consistent on being me and true to myself. And Sean, thank you so much. I know you work with a lot of different people, and I know you got a great, fascinating story. Why don't you tell everybody who you are, and let's jump right into it.
Yeah, I mean, so my name's Sean Crane. Like Lance said, I'm a performance coach. I work with a lot of business owners. I founded the company Unstoppable 365, which is becoming the #1 personal development company for business owners, specifically blue-collar workers, guys in the trades. I didn't plan for that to happen, but by just showing up every day and sharing my message and my story online, these are the relationships I've built. Like, the first time I met Lance was on a FaceTime. Right, Bill Russell and I had developed a relationship, and he said, hey, I want you to meet somebody. And he put the phone to Lance, and we just chopped it up for a second, and then we ended up doing a phone call a couple weeks later. And Lance basically said, look, dude, if you want to connect, I'm all about relationships. Why don't you come out here to my pad and this weekend in Philly, and we'll get to know each other. So that was like a test, right? A lot of guys wouldn't just jump on a plane and take a red eye all the way across the country to hopefully build a relationship, right? But like, I understood exactly what Lance was doing. He wanted to check my character and see like, how bad does this guy want to be successful or build relationships? And I was hungry, man. I'm gonna tell you why I was so hungry in a second. But remember that I flew out?
So the funny part is, and I laugh because you flew out Saturday night on a red eye.
Yeah.
You met me, you got to my house about 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning. We worked out together, if you remember. I was already working out, you came and worked out. We spent about 6 hours together, and you flew back home to see your family that night.
Yep.
And that's all I needed to know. Like, I knew this guy was hungry, driven, wasn't messing around. I knew you, because you were just starting out then.
Yeah.
You were just starting out. I was like, this dude's gonna be successful. And I said to my wife, I said, mark my words, this guy's gonna be a multi-millionaire. Because so many people reach out to me, and you're with me now for multiple weeks at a time now. You see my DMs, it's this constant reach out all day long. But when I say, yo, show up, how many people show up?
Yeah, and that's
1 out of 100.
That's the thing, is people like think someone else is gonna make them successful. Like, the relationships are key, but you still gotta work and you gotta bring value to the table, you know?
And what really impressed me is your story, not your childhood, but your story, how you wind up in prison, similar to me. Most people know I got locked up when I was juvenile. You start telling me your story. You meet my son, LJ. You know, and LJ was fascinated by your book. He loved it. And like, you're a great father, first of all. Like, you just go with children. But tell people your story and what really made you get into this, because I don't think people understand what you had to go through to get to here.
I was locked up at 23 and I was facing life in prison. And for 8 months, I was in a 6x8 cell, isolated 24 hours a day, not knowing how much time I was gonna spend in jail. Like, no one believed me that I was innocent. People at the party knew I didn't do the crime. They knew who committed the assault, but no one wanted to get involved with the police. So it was like, my lawyers didn't believe me, the DA, the judge didn't believe me, only close family members, and then the people at the party that knew the truth, which no one was coming forward. So finally, they sentenced me to 7 years in prison. And here I'm at 23, I'm like, fucking 7 years? That's almost a decade, you know? But in that 8 months, man, I went through this massive transformation. Like, I sat in that cell, and we talked about this the other day, like, true success is being able to look in the mirror and knowing you're being the best fucking version of yourself.
Absolutely.
Like, no bullshit, right? Well, my whole life I bullshitted myself. I used drugs, I escaped, I just checked out. Like, a lot of people are in denial, right? And in that cell, there was no running, there was no escape. And I looked in the mirror, man, and I was like, who the fuck are you? This is not the person you were supposed to be. Like, I felt ashamed, and I had so much regret, and it just ate away at me in that cell every day. And this is what most people are gonna experience at the end of their life. Like, when you're on your deathbed and your mind's racing with all the memories of the past and who you could have been and how you could have lived, it's gonna torture you. And I had that experience, man. And so in that cell, I was like, dude, fuck this. I'm never gonna contribute to this feeling again. Like, I don't care if I'm in jail for 100 years. Every day I gotta do in my heart what I know I should be doing. So the first decision was I'm gonna be sober for the rest of my life. I'm never touching anything again. I'm 100% sober. I've been ever since. That was 12 years ago. And then every day I'll just get up and I'm like, well, what can I do today? Like, okay, I know no one believes me. I know they're trying to send me to prison. I know all the bad stuff. What can I do today just to get 1% better? Just to feel like I'm doing everything in my power to improve or make this situation better. And so I started working out, reading, writing every day. Like, that was the beginning of my journey. And in a very short period of time, I started feeling proud of myself. Like, I was locked up, I was hungry, I was missing my family, but I was fucking attacking my workouts. I was reading a bunch of books, I was writing, I was improving everything I could. And so I started doing that, and over the years, I felt myself grow immensely. I developed discipline, I developed confidence and belief in myself. And that's when the other guys in prison started noticing, like, dude, this guy's different. He's up at 4 working out. You know, he's not fucking around with the drugs. He's not into all the gang and criminal activity. He's reading books. And like, the guys that did want to change started gravitating towards me. And I'd work out with them and get them in shape, or I'd show them what books I was reading. And I saw them start to change. Like, guys that you don't think will ever change, with the worst mindsets, the worst attitudes.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, damn, this is powerful. Like, if I can get these guys to change in here, I can get anyone in the world to change. And so that's when I really uncovered my purpose. I'm like, I'm here to be of service. I want to help people. I want to be a coach. And that's when my vision just started expanding.
You know, it's funny when you say about being service, you know. So Sean jumps out, he meets me for the first time. And we talked, and we had a great time. And then I went through, I don't want to call it, I'll call it what it was. It was a depression when I sold one SEO, if you remember. I went through a very dark spot. And I called Sean up, and I was like, Sean, listen, can you fly out? I called you up, I was like, yo, can you fly out and spend a week with me? I told my wife, I'm like, man, something's wrong. I went through it a few years ago. I had to call Tony Bree up, and Tony Bree immediately stopped what he was doing. He was at my house for literally a month straight, every morning at 6 o'clock, just. And people will say, man, you're the strongest guy I know. But even the strongest businessmen, they have so much coming at them. Not that you break, but you start not to do the things necessary to make yourself sharp.
Yeah.
And I called you up. You didn't even ask me for money. You didn't tell me how much it would cost. You never asked me for a nickel. You were like, I'll be on the next flight out. Do you remember that? You spent the whole week here with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we were up every morning, talking, working out, and you just were with me. And to me, that's when you know. I just said, wow, this guy's just a good guy. And at that time, you already had your online thing going, and you were making some money, and you were doing well. And when you say you're here to serve, like, I truly believe that. We had a conversation about someone else. I don't agree with his antics. I'm friends with him, but like, and I can be friends with someone I don't agree with, right? I told you that. Like, but you actually have people's best interests at heart. You try to help self-develop. You know, you were on the phone. I posted me and you on the sauna on Monday, and my phone rang, and it was a guy that came to one of my masterminds, and he's like, you know, people pay you so much money, Lance. He's like, you don't feel embarrassed posting that you have a mental coach, because that's ultimately what you are, as a mental coach to me, right? Like, you call it performance, I call it, you come in, you reset me, we talk about all, you see the stress I go through, you try and help. Like, you're the one that got me to ice bath in the afternoons, right? You're like, hey, do it in the afternoon, you'll be a better father to your kids, so I do it in the afternoon. And I said to him, I said, I'm not ashamed of it all. I said, I think any high achiever, any high performance person better have a fucking coach that they could talk to, that doesn't judge them, that doesn't ever throw anything back in their face. Because you've never done that. And you know all my secrets. You know all the most intimate things about me and my wife, business, people. And you always try to give me a different way to look at it. Mm-hmm. Can you explain to business owners? Because really, you only work with business owners for the most part, correct?
Predominantly, yeah.
I mean, because a lot of business owners don't think they need help.
Yeah. And that's the worst attitude. Like for me, I'm always going to be seeking growth and information. Like my growth is never complete. I don't care if I'm a billionaire. Like it doesn't matter. I want to get better every day. And if you want to get better, you got to put yourself in different environments at time and be around different thinkers and types of people. Because sometimes we can't see our blind spots.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, it's not about I need a coach because I'm struggling. It's like, dude, I want a coach because I always want to be sharp and I always want to be progressing. And even at the highest level, people get complacent and they fall into a comfort zone. Like if you're crushing it and you're a nine-figure income earner for 10 years straight, by that 9th, 8th, 9th, 10th year, whatever, that's your comfort zone now. Like you've normalized that lifestyle. So what about elevating beyond that? There needs to be a catalyst, you know? So I work with so many business owners and I see the same symptoms. They're so focused on business and success in the business, they neglect their health. It affects their mindset over time. Stress starts to accumulate and they're not good at home. They're not present. There's issues with their marriage. They're not spending the time with their kids or the quality time they know they should. They tell me all the same things. Like, dude, I can't turn it off when I go home. I'm not spending time with my kids, or they gain weight and they're unhealthy. So it's like, my job is to help them understand the value of being healthy, the value of prioritizing these routines so that they can be better in all areas of life and win across the board. And when you have a million fucking things going on, it's hard to do that. It's hard to put all the pieces together.
It is.
And you need someone to hold you accountable and say like, dude, you told me you want to be this fucking man, but you're still acting like this guy. Like, what's going to happen in 10 years when you don't change? What's at stake for you? And they need to like think about that and almost feel that like scared feeling. It's not like, oh fuck, my wife might leave me. Oh damn, like my kids might be estranged from me, you know? Because all of a sudden, what about when she leaves your ass and has another dude and you see pictures of your kids with that man? That's gonna fucking eat you up.
Oh, without a doubt.
So my job, like when I sat in that cell and the pain that I felt, I would have done anything. Like I felt like I could have busted through that wall. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so the pain is what changes us. It changes our behavior instantly. And my job is to help people to understand what's at stake if they don't change and paint that picture for them so they are willing to do the work now to change for the better.
We worked out the other day, my phone rang, you were listening to a conversation I had, and the guy's like, Lance, once I'm worth 9 figures like you, once I'm a millionaire, like saying those type of comments, it's all gonna change for me. And I started laughing when I hung up. I said, this guy thinks money's gonna set everything else perfect. Yeah. And as you're in my basement working out, getting my head right with me, just getting me, and like when I say get my head right, people, like, it's not that I'm depressed. Sean didn't come here, I was depressed. I was looking forward to Sean. Bill Rizzo was looking forward to get here. But Joe Lynn was happy that he's here because when I come out of it for about 5 months to 6 months, I'm sharp as a needle again. And then he just comes back and you just recalibrate. Like it's, I don't know, understand. But he doesn't understand. He doesn't think he needs to coach this guy. He thinks, he's like, I can do what you do. I can do what he does. He thinks that money's going to change this, make him happy. And what I say to you, I said, money, it's about winning while we're doing these things. Like, and I think that's why if you're a true business entrepreneur and you don't have some coaching in your life, it's going to be very hard to grow. Do you agree with that, or are you kind of against that?
No, absolutely. And I think a lot of people think like at one point, like when I have this one thing, I'll be happy. Like when my business is at this certain level, when I have this certain amount of money, and they think this feeling is going to come from that stuff. It doesn't. It doesn't. So they're chasing for the rest of their life. Once you make that money, you're still going to have fucking problems. You're still going to have the same mindset. You're going to still have the same bad habits. Like your daily habits and actions are what make you feel a certain way about yourself. Like I've had days where I made a lot of money, but I didn't like feel super good because maybe some other shit was going on in my life. Now on the flip side of the coin, I've had days in prison with nothing where I felt so much gratitude and joy about my life. Like more gratitude and joy than I've experienced out here on some days with my beautiful family and everything going well. And it's something deeper than just the surface level stuff. You know what I mean?
It's funny you say that because I was talking yesterday to a guy that wants to partner with me. And he said, you know, the first time you got a 10-figure check, right? Did you jump up and down? Were you crazy? And I'll never forget, I was sitting in a room. It was me, Joe Lynn, my partner at the time. And it was like 3:30 in the afternoon. We closed that morning. And the money was supposed to hit immediately. We actually signed the paperwork the night before, but they released it at midnight, so that's how it works, out of escrow. And the money was supposed to hit first in the morning, the money didn't hit. So now it's like 3:34, and my partner goes, God damn, the money hit. Joe Lynn's money hit, my money hit. And I'll never forget, this guy gets up and he grabs a bottle of Woodward Reserve and he starts drinking. He's like, do you want one? And me and Joe Lynn are like, no, I'm like, we got more to do right now. We're working on other stuff. And they said you weren't like excited. 'Cause at that time, it was the biggest check I've ever got in my life, 4 years ago, at one time. And then you're like, okay, I just got this money, but I didn't feel an ounce of happiness. I didn't take a day off because that win was already over.
Yeah.
I don't think real businessmen.
It was all the work leading up to that result. It's almost like the work, and when you're progressing and working towards the goal, it's like that's where you get that feeling. It's apprehension. It's like not knowing if you're going to achieve that goal, but you're driven every day and inspired to achieve that goal. It's kind of like the chase. You know what I mean? Like you see that in relationships.
Like, I remember feeling happier the day I signed the LOI.
Well, because then you get that goal and you're like, okay, fuck, now what's next, right? Same like you said with One SEO, like once you sold it, you're like, damn, what next? Because Tony Robbins said progression creates happiness, like progression creates fulfillment.
I do believe that. I believe you need to have a mission.
Well, that's why in working out, you set goals, you want to get stronger. Like people that are training in marathons and stuff, they have that time they want to beat. Because it's knowing that we can get better, and then all the work that goes into that result, that's like where we get the fulfillment. But that's also why it's so important to have a deeper reason and meaning behind what you're doing than just that money. Like the people that just want that money, they're the ones that become unfulfilled in life, and they develop, addictions, they develop bad habits, vices, because they're not getting a feeling.
Let's talk about that.
But look at like this is so important. Like you want to win. Like this is what I noticed about you and some of the highest achievers I've been around. The money and the result is secondary. And I can identify with this. I'm not okay if I don't look in the mirror and I'm like, I'm not being the best fucking version of myself. Same with you. You want to win. You want to be the highest, most elite version of yourself. The money and the result is secondary. That's why you keep winning, because that's a never-ending pursuit. And it's not like a greedy thing where I need more, I need more, I need more. It's like, no, I just want to see who the fuck I can become in this lifetime. I want to reach my full potential. And that's a never-ending pursuit.
It's not even about money for me, because clearly I don't need money.
Yeah.
I mean, look at my farm, look at this pay. Like, I don't need money.
Yep.
I need the win. I need that purpose. That man. How many times do you say it's the mission? We stay the course to the mission. Yeah. Everything's a mission for us, right? Everything's a mission. But I do want to talk about addiction and drugs and alcohol, because the one thing you notice with me is, and I do love the reason that you come here, is because we don't touch alcohol at all when you're here. Mm-hmm. And not that we drink a lot in my house, but you saw my wife the other night say, "Hey, you just want a glass of wine?" And I was like, "No." Yeah. I was like, I just want to stay the course. I said, but you can have one, right? Mm-hmm. Where I would have, I said, if you weren't here, I probably would have had that glass of wine. It would have turned into 2. And the next day is just, I got a bad hip anyway, but the next day is just a shitty day. Yeah. Can you talk about why high performers try really not to drink as much, and they get away from the bars and the going out? And because I think people think I'm rude when I say that, but everyone I know that's a high performer doesn't fuck around like that. They're not going to bars with their friends. They're not hanging out at night. They might go with their wife and do a trip here or there, do some things, but they're not going on boys' trips. Can you talk about that and the high performers?
It's like, where are your priorities at? How many conferences have we been to where the night before the event, everyone's at the bar getting fucking smashed?
It's insane.
And then you see people showing up late. They're not focused. Like, dude, you're at an event where you're trying to get information and grow your business, and you'd rather drink and get fucked up and party. Like, that's childish, that's why they're not successful. It's all about your habits, dude. And like, if you have a guy who's drinking every night versus a guy who's not, that guy's more sluggish, he doesn't have the clarity, he's not working out as much because he's hungover. Like, it takes away from who you could become, and you don't have the focus and the clarity. And another thing too is like, why do people drink and do that stuff? Probably because of stress.
Without doubt.
Running a business is stressful as hell. Well, imagine the guy that doesn't need the drink and can develop within himself the ability to handle the stress versus the guy that needs a drink to cope. Who do you think is going to grow more and reach a higher level?
Oh, the guy.
Like, your ability to manage stress is what leads to success at a high level, right?
I said the other day, I said what separates, and I couldn't do it before. I used to flip out all the time, scream. You see what my days are like. They're just stressful. Like, people are like, oh man, Lance, you don't really do that much. People see the Facebook, they see the watches, they see the farm,
they
see
have no
idea.
idea.
They have no clue what stress begins. My day starts at 4:35. You see the phones on there. Yeah. All I deal is with problems from 5 to 7:38. You see it every morning. Like,
managing people.
And you're 100% correct. If you don't learn how to manage stress, I think that's what makes the great entrepreneurs great.
Oh, absolutely.
They can deal with the stress. Like, there's nothing that could stress me out at this point. I'm like, it's just going to work out. We're going to figure it out.
And so, like, that's why I work out and do what I do, cold plunge sauna, because it takes away that edge and it keeps stress low. If I didn't do that stuff, I would have went back to drinking by now. Like, I would have fucking broke. Or the worst thing is like taking it out on loved ones or acting out of character.
I used to do that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's you got to mature and be able to recognize like, okay, I don't want to bring that problem home. And that's like trial and error, right? It doesn't happen right away, but you got to develop that. But the guy who's drinking and stuff and just relying on alcohol, like, he doesn't develop that maturity. He doesn't develop that
What about the guy cheating on his wife? Like, I told you honestly years ago, I cheated on my wife. I regret it. I'm not proud of it, but I'm not going to act like I'm holier than thou. I say to people all the time, like, if you cheat on your wife, that's on you, but I'm probably not going to do business with you at this point in my life because I know how fucked up I was for doing it, right? Like, I'm man enough to admit it. Should never have done it. I can tell you why I did it, because I fucking felt loneliness inside for whatever reasons it was. Like, that temporary fix never fixed what I was looking for. And meanwhile, I have a beautiful wife at home I love, I care about. I'm treating her like shit. I was lying to myself, like you said. I couldn't even be truthful with myself in the mirror.
Yeah.
Like, why do you think so many business owners cheat on their wives?
Yeah, I mean, what you just said, I think it was a symptom of a lot of stress and a lot of pressure. Like,
that's not an excuse, though, because you're still a piece of shit.
But like, you admitting it now and being honest about it is good, because you can help other people. Like, there's other younger guys that are going through that right now, and you're being honest about it, and like, fuck, wow, Lance, and you've mended that relationship and you've changed. So change is possible, but I think whether you're turning...
Well, just don't go out, right? Don't put yourself in a position.
You got to know what environments you shouldn't be in, right?
Well, an alcoholic shouldn't be in a bar and a nightclub, right?
So
like, just
whether it's alcohol, weed, pills, women, porn, like, there's all these vices guys turn to, and it's an attempt to like numb out that feeling, whatever, stress, loneliness. If you don't deal with whatever is taking place, like, it's going to continue to repeat in your life. You got to fix yourself. That's why personal development is so important. Personal development is more than just working out an ice bath. It's like actually learning about yourself and why the fuck do I do this? Well, why do I feel this way? Why am I jeopardizing everything I said I wanted? So that's why having a coach is important too. Like,
well, we don't even listen to music when we work out. We talk.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking.
Yeah, and that's really important.
It's like therapy. I mean, it's fucked up, but it's like you almost feel like you're a shrink a little bit, right? Like,
well, yeah, it's a mixture of like therapy, fitness coaching, mindset training. It's all of it combined. That's what I tell people, because a lot of guys don't talk about stuff out loud to anybody. They keep it all suppressed. And when it's suppressed, that's actually one of the reasons people develop these bad habits. It's like, when you suppress emotion, then you have cravings. You're trying to numb out some feeling that's affecting you internally.
Well, most business owners, I mean, truth be told, most business owners can't. The things I tell you, I can't tell other people.
Yeah. Well, that's
just the reality of it. I can't.
Having a mentor or coach is so important, because most business owners, they're the top dog in their work.
Correct.
And they're delegating, they're holding people accountable, but no one's checking in on them. So no one knows, but a lot of these guys are actually suffering. They're suffering in silence. Internally, their thoughts are like not really that good, and they're doing shit that no one knows about to try to cope and try to just maintain.
Why do you think so many business owners don't? Because now that I have you, I looked at how I've excelled over the last 2 years, just in so many ways. Professionally, my wife and me have a better relationship. I never would have gone away with my wife 2 years ago for 10 days. Never in a million years. Yeah. I never, as you know, I've always been about my kids. That's off the table for me not to be. But even business-wise, I've calmed down. Why do you think so many business owners, because you have online courses, I'm an in-person type of person, you know that. Like, I said that to you, like, I'm not gonna go online and talk. That's just me and my personality. I'd rather fly you in, spend time with you, and be with you. Why do you think so many business owners don't understand? Because I try and tell people all the time, like, yo, go to Shawn Michael, go to Shawn Michael. Like, I don't know. Does it work? I'm like, dude, this isn't like fucking voodoo. I mean, You're paying to come to my masterminds. You're coming to my conference. You're coming to my shop tours. You asked me to mentor you. But the biggest piece, I think, truly, is, certain things like Service Titan, Rolla, and there's systems and process things, but for your mental health, what you need, I think you're one of the biggest pieces. Why so many business owners don't use people like you? Yeah,
I think, well, if you've had success and you've grown a business, part of it is like not thinking you need a coach because you've had success and you're progressing, maybe not understanding the benefits of having a coach, like how it can really take you to the next level. And then for some guys, it's ego. It's either their ego, like, I don't need a fucking coach, or a limiting belief, like, I don't have enough time. Like, or is it going to work? Will it help me? You know what I mean? So one of the best things I think we can be is open-minded and willing to try things. Like that, when I flew out in January, right? If you didn't like that experience, you never had to invite me out ever again. But at least you knew and you took that step. A lot of guys don't. They just close the door on shit over and over and over. And it's like, that's the worst way to be. Even if you're successful and you're saying like you have a closed mind, you're not going to continue growing. You don't know how much better you can become or how much better you can get. And here's the thing, like, everyone knows who Tim Grover is, Michael Jordan's coach, Kobe Bryant. Why do you think
those guys got
fucking
coaches?
Michael Jordan had a coach and Kobe Bryant?
Yeah.
When you want to be the best, you don't care about anything but what is it going to take to get me there? Who do I need to have around me? What changes do I have to make? And you're willing to do whatever it takes. That's the bottom line. And maybe some people, they lose that spark, like whatever got them started on their journey, they start to fade out, you know, and they just settle. Like, instead of continuing to progress and seeing how good they can be.
I see people, right? Obviously, you know, I partner with people, and I think some of my partners, truthfully, just can't figure out how to be a business person, right? I think they're great people, but they're like, I don't understand P&L systems, processes. So like, that's why you partner, right, with me. But I think I've seen people, now I've done this enough, especially people I've handed checks to. Every one of my partners I handed money to, I see they lose all the fire in their eyes. They don't, like, why does money make people fucking fat and happy? Because is it just they were just trying to get a check? I'm curious because
that's what it is. Like, the number one thing motivating them is the money. And like we talked about, what separates people that are like okay or average and then great? The greats have a different thing inside of them driving them every day. You want to be a fucking champion. You want to win at all costs. I want to look in the mirror and know I'm being my best self. Like, that will never stop. So you put $1 billion in my bank account right now, dude, I'm getting my fucking ass up at 5 tomorrow and I'm going to do the cold plunge and I'm going to work out. I'm going to do the same routine. That routine is what gives me mental clarity and peace. And that's what everyone's after. Everyone's chasing the money and the success. They're all after the same thing. They want to feel that same feeling inside of them of inner peace.
But that money isn't going to give you
no,
peace.
It's not. And this is why prison was such an asset for me. I found peace in my prison cell. And I was like, what the fuck? How can I feel this way in this environment? I'm facing life in prison and I'm going to bed so grateful, like so much gratitude in my heart and so much peace. I couldn't believe it. And it taught me that all the stuff that we're taught out here that we think we need, we don't need that shit. That's secondary. And a lot of times that stuff comes from becoming the person you're supposed to be anyway, right? Like, it's a natural byproduct. So I figured that out and I was like, damn, I got to share this with the world. I felt like I unlocked the secret of life. Like, the truth is, we're all after the same thing: inner peace, happiness, feeling proud of who we are. And how do you get there? By becoming your best self and developing that person. And like, when you do that, you know, I've scaled a 7-figure business. I have the wife and children of my dreams. Like, dude, I'm just getting fucking started though. I built relationships with you and all these top level guys. I'm speaking on stages. Like, that was part of the vision, you know? But that happened because I stayed the course and every day I worked on myself. And so as I've been on this journey, I've still been able to hold on to gratitude. I've never broken character. I have that inner peace. And that's why I've produced these results.
You are true to yourself, because the funny thing is he lives with me and my family, he integrates himself in. And people don't, like, we spend the day together, but you're doing your stuff, I'm doing my stuff. We spend the first 2 hours in the morning together, and then we eat dinner together. And like, I'm like, who wouldn't want that? Because even if you do it online, I'm assuming online coaching is an hour a week, maybe 2 hours a week, something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We'll do like a Zoom call every week and then check in, you know.
So it's really not that much time. Because I look at it this way: you're here for a full week. It's actually more inconvenient for you. You're doing me a favor. But we're only together from 5 to 7:30, 5 to 8 in the morning, whatever. And then we're together at night at dinner time for what, probably 45 minutes, hour talking. Like, it's really not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's a no-brainer to have you here in my house doing that situation. Why wouldn't a business owner just say, yo, for an hour, let me go get my mental reset?
Yeah, I mean, an excuse, like, I don't have time, or, people who are really busy like that, business owners, they're always putting out fires. Like, they're not very organized. You know what I mean? They're not in control of how they spend their time. Like, they don't prioritize the morning routine. They're not working out. They don't plan ahead with what they're eating.
Do you believe people need a routine?
Oh, hell yeah. Having a routine for me is essential. If I get thrown off my routine, like, even if I'm here or if I was back in jail, I would still get up in the morning and have that first hour to 2 by myself where I could focus on my growth.
Well, he's not lying. He's sitting in his room down here. I come down here. He walks out. He meets me. He sees my routine. I answer emails, I laptop, and he sits right back in his room. I don't know if you meditate or if you're just reading a book there, but
yeah, both.
He's just sitting in there by himself.
I like that time in the morning to collect my thoughts and just get focused on the day, and that sets me up for my entire day. Like, I just go into my day like tunnel vision. I know exactly what I got to do, and I just attack it. But it's about getting my energy right. Like, if I wake up late, and then my kids are all like jumping all over me and stuff, you would think that's great. And some days it's okay, but it just like, I get irritable. I need that time in the morning to get myself right. Because dude, I was a drug addict for 10 years. I grew up seeing a bunch of bad shit at home. Like there's parts of me, my demons, that I got to still keep at bay every day. Like they never go away. I've grown and changed a lot, but if I get off my routines and I stop developing myself, I don't know what would happen. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm not willing to risk that. And so I want to get up and just kill those fucking demons with positive action right away, get my thoughts, my energy pure, and then I bring that man to my family and that man into the world.
So I'm gonna give you, because I know we gotta wrap this up, I want to give you a special kudos. So when we did the roofing conference process, which you know I bought, partnered with Dimitri on, Bill says to me, Lance, this is your conference, who's the #1 speaker you want? And I thought of 2 people right away. Josh Sparks, I said, who I have a lot of respect for, did great things in the roofing business. Most people don't even know who this guy is. He's undercover, very humble man, but I like him. I consider him a dear friend. Very, very good guy. His company's probably gonna do $400 million in residential roofing this year.
Wow.
My #2 was you. I said, this guy's done something that I'm going to do in the roofing space. I want to do. And I said, this guy I know impacts people every day for serving people. And I said, I think more business owners need this. And that's why I asked you right away after I got the conference, Sean, will you come and speak? Because I think people need to hear your message and understand, as a business owner, you have an option for people that actually care and can help you get better. So I just want to thank you, brother.
Dude, absolutely, man. So it's an honor, and I love the relationship we built. And dude, this is like why I do what I do, because I get to connect with guys like you, and then all the people that follow you, all the people that just want to be their best, they don't know how to get there. Like, I'm on a mission to change the world, and I know I'm just one man. I'm not going to change the world. But by being around guys like you and Tommy Mello and all these fucking driven individuals, like the ripple effect is taking place. And, you know, we can bring a whole new mindset and standard to the trades and to people who do business. Like, we could have it all, man. Best relationships, best health and fitness, best mindset, crushing it and making a bunch of money, and that's the goal. So,
well, if you don't know who he is, look him up, Sean Michael Crane. Sean, give all your contact info. I'm just telling you right now, you want to change your life, change how you act, change how you behave. One of the best decisions I made was bringing him in for 7 to 10 days, twice a year for me. I'm not saying he's your guy. It might not be, but at least reach out to him, talk to him. But there's other business coaches out there. But he's worked for me. He's worked for the 9, 10 people I know you use. All high-level people that just want to win. Where can they contact you at, Sean?
So you can contact me on Facebook, Sean Michael Crane, SEAN is how I spell my first name. And then Instagram, Sean_Crane_official. Shoot me a DM. I handle all my social media. If you want to connect, reach out to me there.
Hey everyone, thank you for joining us today. I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, Service Titan and Rilla, our technology of choice to helping us scale and grow our business and making sure all of our viewers have the technology to scale their business so when they want to sell it, they're able to.